Hey everyone, this is Jeremy here. I wanted to give a review about my new washer machine. I got the SpeedQueen TC5. I've had it for a couple of weeks now, and I've put some clothes through it. As you can see, I've done maybe about 3 batches like that. I've got a house of 5. I got 3 boys that are preteens and teenagers, and you know how boys are. And then I'm a tradesman, so I'm constantly putting in work on my clothes. I wear regular tradesman stuff, Dickies, Carhartts, but and then my wife. So it's a family of 5, and so that's what it looks like. That's the laundry chute there, and it never ends. But I wanted to give a review on the SpeedQueen. Um, my brother is an appliance repair guy, and I called him up because my original washer machine, which is this 27-year-old Maytag Dependable Care, it started to act up. And when I tell you I really loved this washer, I mean it. I loved it. And the crazy part is I got this thing when I bought my house 10 years ago. And it was here already. And I just kept it. And for 10 straight years, it's been pushing out family of 5 clothes with absolutely no hiccups. Well, a couple of months ago, this thing it started to act up, something with the timer. And I called up my brother, who is the appliance repair guy, and he told me that what I was looking at was probably a new timer, which runs a couple $100. Now that seems like a very, very, very affordable idea, but he wasn't quite sure. He said it's either the timer or it's a Molex plug that connects all of the wires to the timer. And so he was like, but you got to do the first one to know if that's the one. So anyway, I decided to go on eBay and to find one that was used. And I had it shipped in. I put it on. It's on here right now. And it did the exact same thing as the old one. So then I said, well, do I want to just buy a new one? So after thinking about all of the time that I would have wasted and the money that I possibly could have wasted, which I figured was about $300 or $400, conservatively, I said, well, let me just put that money into a new version of this thing. So I bought the SpeedQueen. Now this thing is a monster. This thing is a monster. And I think I'm gonna figure out how to fix this thing and just tuck it over in the corner somewhere. But this thing is a monster as well. I did a lot of research on figuring out what to get, and I didn't want to waste my time. I didn't want to waste my money. So I went with the SpeedQueen. Like I said, I'm a tradesman. So over the years, I have come across so many washer machines. Some of them were, beautiful looking. Some of them were new. Some of them were used. And maybe about 3 different times, I brought one home, lugged it down to the basement, hooked it up, put this guy over to the side as to get rid of it. And then mama said, this thing is not washing. It's washing, but it's not washing. It's not filling up. It's loud. It's shaky. It's everything. So I'll have to come back, haul the thing back up out of the basement, take it back to drop it off somewhere in a dumpster or a landfill or something. And then that's when I realized that all of these beautiful washer machines, they're crap. They all were like very shaky. They were all like, they didn't fill up. You can put clothes in, and no matter how much, it will fill up maybe about 4 or 5 inches, 6 inches maybe even from the bottom. And then they would just be sitting in water, stewing, not getting washed. So that's when I personally learned that, yeah, this is not, all the washers are not created equal. So when my brother told me, he said, man, this is a SpeedQueen. You need to go ahead and just get that fixed. He meant it figuratively because since I have them both sitting right here facing each other, I can really compare the notes. And what I'm noticing is he's perfectly right. The same way this drum runs continually all the way down up under the agitator, it's the same exact thing this 28-year-old dependable care one does. It runs all the way down continuously right up underneath it. This thing obviously have the spines for the agitator to move the clothing. It has the fins that seem to kind of be detached right here at the bottom, so it could kind of like flick your clothes around. Well, this one does too. As you can see the light under there, like it's the same exact thing. The design of the spiral is a little bit different, and believe it or not, this one still works. Like it's still this thing used to push out some clothes, man. And in that sense, the actual basket, the agitators, they are just about identical. As you can see, this old one, it barely wants to move, and I'm using tradesman muscle, and it's honestly more solid than the SpeedQueen drum is, which is still very solid. But the harder to review is how does it work? Now, what we're all used to is simplicity. Normally, I would put it on heavy, start it. I would set my temperature, usually hot to cold or warm to warm. I would pick the size of the load, and you walk away. Simplicity. With this one, I'm noticing that I gotta learn how to get it to act exactly like my old Maytag dependable care, which is effectually the same thing. So over here we've got the same thing, heavy duty, normal cycle. We don't have a light like the old one has, but what I've noticed is to get it to work the way I want it to, I put it on heavy duty. I come over here to the options. These are the options you can add to the cycle that you pick. I usually put this on heavy soil because I just figure heavy is the same thing. Or I would just leave it in the off position and just let the heavy duty do the work. And then I would pick my temperature, which is usually hot or warm. No matter what you pick, it rinses in cold. And that works perfectly. I usually throw in a couple of Tide Pods. I personally, I put it on the cycle that I wanted. I put it on deep fill. I put it on heavy. I usually put it on hot for like the first 5 minutes or so of the fill up process. I'll throw in a couple of Tide Pods, maybe even 3. I know everything is high efficiency, but I don't care about all of that. I don't care about all that. I want my clothes to be clean. I don't want them to. I don't want to hope that they're clean. I want to see the soap. I want to see, not too much, but come on. I put 2 to 3 in. I'll fill it up on the hot for about 5 minutes, and then I would, I got my little, formerly known as a broomstick with the plastic tip on the end. I would, while it's filling up, I would put it in, and I would just kind of like shake up the water that's in here, make sure that it's really soapy. And then I would come back up here and I would switch it to warm and let it fill up probably 80% of the way warm. So I got a warmer than warm water. Then I would, so this is worth noting. When you do a regular load without the deep fill button pushed, it'll fill all the way up to here. And that's what I call 3 holes lower than the top. It'll fill up right up in this area. That's a regular load right there. And to be honest, you can wash most loads with that. It doesn't seem high because you can obviously see you got so much more space up here. And this basket sits deeper than this one does. This one is up probably, if I could honestly measure it, I would say this is about the bottom of the basket when you look at the outside of the washer machine. It's about right there. On the other hand, this one, I would say it's about right there. So it's a little bit lower inside of the walls of the exterior walls of the washer. But honestly, I've washed one of those baskets right there. That's a pretty healthy basket. And I've washed it, with all loose stuff, like sheets or coats or anything. And I've thrown it in there and it washed it just like a champ. But in general, a family of 5, we're going to hit the deep fill. And when the deep fill fills it up, it takes it from here and it brings it up to this first ring of lines of hose. It doesn't bring it all the way up to the top or to the brim or anything like that. I'm sure it can. Sometimes it would have been nice to see that when you're looking inside, because it still lines up with, the fins. But this is the highest it is going to get. And if you want to add more water to that, you got to grab a hose and pour it in there. Maybe get another inch of water in there. But it works like a champ. It kicks. That's the only way I can get this thing to work like my normal preference is for my old dependable Maytag, which is heavy. Other than that, you got the normal cycle. I don't know why they designed it like this, but this normal cycle, it doesn't come with a traditional rinse. So if you put clothes in here, you got to make sure that you put a rinse with it, because you won't know that the soap is out of your clothes. And I think that's kind of weird. I don't know why that makes sense unless it's some kind of a regulation that forces them to do that, because a normal load is wash, rinse. The difference is the time frame on how long it's washing and how long, well, rinsing usually doesn't matter, but how long it's washing. This one washes, and when it gets to the rinse, it just spins and it sprays water while it's spinning. So it never stops and soaks the water, the clothes, and then drains it and spins. So with this one, you must add an extra rinse. There's nothing wrong with that because you're able to get it to act like the one that you're used to, which is what most people want washers and dryers to do if they were content in the beginning. Um, Bulky and delicate, the agitator moves slower. It doesn't like in heavy duty. It's hitting, but in bulky, it's kind of softer, I guess, so that it won't damage whatever you're trying to clean. But I generally don't bother those. I do everything on heavy duty because everything today can handle being washed for the 17-minute cycle that heavy duty is for agitating during the wash. And then this heavy adds another 4, so you're talking about 21 minutes. That's generally what this one used to do. This one used to spit out a load in about 38 minutes, 38, 39 minutes. And this one basically will too. Um, Extra soak, extra rinse adds 27 to maybe 30, 27, 35 minutes to the cycle, no matter what you use, because the soak, it fills up, it agitates, and then it just pauses for like 27 minutes. And then it goes into the regular wash cycle. And then at the end of the rinse, if you get one on this side, it'll give you another rinse. So that's for like when you know you got some dirty, dirty, dirty stuff that you need to make sure it breaks down, and it can't just handle a quick cycle. Um, this thing is built like a tank. I like it because it's solid. It gives me the feeling of I know my washer downstairs is going to get the job done. And I like that, and most people need that contentment, that peace of mind. Um, it really is built like a tank. Like it's heavy. It's heavy, heavy, heavy. Um, I like that it comes with a warranty of 5 years, bumper to bumper per se. It comes with a 15-year warranty on the transmission, which is the most expensive part on a washer machine, kind of like a car. And then it comes with a lifetime warranty or 25-year warranty on the drum, the basket, that whole assembly, which that's not going to go bad at all because, like I said, this one over here is from 1998, and that is 08, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 26 years old. That's 26 years old, and it isn't stainless steel, and it can go another 26 years easily. I just got to figure out what the electrical situation is. But this one has an old timer in it, and this one there's some kind of a computer back here because you can't hear a timer doing anything. Um, um, I like it. I'm happy with my purchase. I feel content about it. The negatives I would say is I think they could have made this a little bit more simple. Um, I don't have a problem with not having a small cycle. I'm sorry, small load, mini load, like the Dependable Care gave me. Medium load, I don't have a problem with that because in general, like I said, it doesn't really feel like you're looking at a large load when it's filled up to here. Obviously, this looks like it's maybe about 65% to the top, but a large load can fit in this thing without a problem. And this agitator, it rolls those clothes, so it's not overloaded. So a small load wouldn't be a problem either. And how many times do you need a mini load, like realistically? But I think the biggest drawback is heavy duty is great. Heavy soil is great, and you can add heavy soil to any cycle. So that just gives you an extra 4 minutes. Being able to soak any and every cycle is great. But in general, with the old Maytag, I would start the cycle when it fills up. I would let it agitate so it can kind of percolate through all of the clothes, and then I would just come and I would just come and pull out the timer to disengage it, and that would be my personal soak, pre-soak. With this one, it comes with it, and it's a 27-minute addition to the cycle. Before it goes into wash agitating, it just sits in the soak area. That's cool, but you can also just come in, hit the button, and it'll just pause the cycle, and it'll just be sitting in there soaking. And then you can come back and hit the button again, and it'll start back up. So there's ways to kind of get it to do what I want my washer to do. I don't really use perm press or delicate. I just throw everything in here on heavy duty or normal, and I add an extra rinse to the normal cycle. And that's generally what everyone needs. They need the longest cycle that is going to get their clothes clean. This does that. And what most people use, which is heavy duty and normal. I wish in the perfect world that they would have put the T37 computer board on here and just let us work with the traditional effect, but with a better screen to just boom, 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 and walk away. You know, all of this, I don't think is necessary. I don't care how old a person is. Everyone know how to navigate a quick little keypad. You know what I mean? And so I think this can get confusing. It was confusing at first. And I went through the booklet over there, I don't know how many times, to really understand what it was doing. I watched a lot of videos, but this could have been designed simpler. Outside of this, which is just simply temperature, and this is pretty simple to understand too. These are the options that you add to the cycles, but then you got to learn what the cycles do. And like bulky, it doesn't have a high spin during the rinse cycle. So if you're washing a queen size comforter and it's not spinning in the high, it's going to come out still damp. So then you got to come over here and put it through a spin cycle, which is just sheer spin, no water added, just sheer spinning. And that's kind of like defeating some of the energy efficient purposes of, washers and dryers today, like the eco, you know what I mean? So you just got to know how to get through it. Sometimes I'll put things on spin, which is just 8 minutes of high spin, and I'll add an extra rinse to it. And what that'll do, it'll put it through a rinse cycle, which is about 8 to 10 minutes, and then it'll spin it. So if you got something that's mild, it's not dirty, but you wore it out and you don't want it, you want to just make sure that it's not dirty, get the odors of the day out or whatever, you can just put it on this, put it in a nice little rinse, put in like some Lysol laundry sanitizer, and that'll be enough to snatch it back before it gets dirty. You know what I mean? But it's a great washer. If I could buy it again, I would. It's a commercial grade. It's really commercial. It's really commercial grade, like seriously. But I'm content. I had it for a few weeks, and I just wanted to throw that out there in case somebody was on the fence about it. Get it. Everything else that's comparable, which is only a couple of things. It was a Maytag commercial, and I think it was a GE commercial, something like that. People were on there raving about it. They came in at a smaller price point, but they didn't have the reputation of SpeedQueen. They don't have the reputation of, you know, built to last. This machine and this machine is the same. The only difference is the control panel. Like, that's it. And Maytag, this is a Maytag, but we know Maytag isn't what they used to be. The Maytag commercial and the GE commercial, they don't operate. They're not built like this. The internals aren't built the same. And they don't have the reputation that I could rely on. I don't want to hear my old lady saying, Jeremy, the washer ain't working. That is what I spent the extra $400 on. That was roughly the difference between the other ones. And so registering it was quick. You just go on the website, tap in your parts, your serial number, and the place you bought it from, and bam, you're good to go. So yeah, that's my review. I think if you think about it, I think spending that extra $300 to $400 to get this thing, well, I went and picked it up myself and brought it home, so I didn't have to pay anything extra with fees. But for the peace of mind, just spend that extra couple, $300 to $400 and get something that is gonna last and last and last. Like I said, I got 3 sons. They're constantly dirty, playing, just being dudes. It's me. I'm a tradesman. Like I said, I do it all. HVAC, plumbing, you name it. Any given day, my clothes can have anything on it. You know what I mean? And those Dickies, like, I gotta pretty much wash my clothes all by themselves because they can't even fit in with the regular stuff. But this thing has been kicking. Once you figure out how to get it to work, like, you like your stuff working, which for most people is just heavy duty, wash, rinse, get it done the first time. One thing with most washers, it's the same thing. You just can't overfill it. If you stuff it, the clothes won't be able to roll. You know what I mean? Basically, the clothes, I didn't even know this was a thing, but I thought they just moved next to each other. But they literally, they drop down and then they come up during the wash cycle and during the rinse cycle. They do this over and over, but they might end up moving around here, but they'll wash and they'll spin and so you're really getting like a 2 agitating action. It's not just going side to side, but it's going up and down. And if you overfill it, you can kind of choke out the load and it won't be able to move around like it want to get that extra dose of clean out of it. So as long as you don't overfill it, you'll be good. And like I said, that basket right there, sitting right here right now, believe it or not, it's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. But I filled up to here a full basket inside of this thing on the deep fill, heavy duty, and it handled it like a champ, like a champ, like you expect it to do. You just wash it, roll and roll and roll over. So but if you overfill it, you're choking it out, and it's gonna move because the agitation is so vigorous. It's gonna move and it's gonna get cleaner, but it's not gonna be able to roll in time. And then the rinse cycle is always shorter. It's like 8 to 10 minutes. So you want to make sure that during the rinse cycle, it can at least drop one time, you know what I mean, before it drains the water out. But great pick, great job by SpeedQueen. They could tighten this thing up a little bit more. You know what I mean? They could tighten this up much more. Make it simpler. You know what I mean? Make it simpler. Even simpler. But yeah, I'm proud of it. I think with the price point, at the end of the day, if I would have tried to get something cheaper, it's like they say, cheap becomes expensive. I didn't want to have to be buying parts and calling my brother to put parts on and verify what's broke or what isn't and all. I just want this thing to be here waiting for the next load. Period. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's worth to buy. $1,400. That's less than a year's worth of going to the laundromat. You know what I mean? That's less than a year's worth of laundromat trips every other week for a family of 5. You know what I mean? So there's no way anyone can talk themselves out of buying the best of the best. They don't even sell this at big box places. You can't go to Menards or Home Depot or Lowe's, anywhere. You can't go anywhere. You got to go to an appliance seller and buy this. And that just speaks to the reality that they're peerless. They don't compare to everyone else. And that alone says something because they're not itching to be in big box places. I don't know what that business model is. Maybe they feel like it'll be too expensive, but the lady at the appliance repair selling place that I bought it from said they can't keep these in. Like they order them every week, like 10 a week, a dozen a week, and they're just constantly being sold. This one is the TC5 and the TR7. The TR7, I don't think that was a great design personally, because for people like myself, I need something that's going to get these clothes clean every time. And to me, the TR7, I mean, I don't want to drag it, but the TR7 was just, it wasn't for my house. I really like that control panel on the TR7. I think if TC5 had the control panel for the TR7, I would have bought it faster than I bought this one, because that control panel is pretty cool. Like, it really is pretty cool, and it's sleek. It's a sleek look. I mean, imagine just having nothing up here but a control panel right there, and it's just all smooth. You could just come down, boop, 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 and walk away. You know, but good job again. Good job again, SpeedQueen, for keeping hope alive. There's a lot of people looking for these guys, not because of their beauty, but because of their quality. And you guys are keeping us alive out here. Thanks, but that's my review, everybody. If you got any questions, leave a question in the comments, and I'll try to catch up with you. All right, bye.